Dear colleagues, my name is Leonidas Kyriakides. I'm Professor of Education Research and Evaluation at the University of Cyprus. My field of research and scholarship is the evaluation of educational effectiveness, whether of teachers, schools, or educational systems. Recently, my research agenda is concerned with the development of a dynamic model of educational effectiveness and the application of effective research to the improvement of practice. Let me at this point remind you that education effectiveness research addresses the question on what works in education and why. The origins of ER stem from reactions to the work on equal opportunity undertaken by Coleman and Jenks back in the late 60s. These two studies, coming from two different disciplinary backgrounds, sociology and psychology, came almost to the same conclusion in relation to the amount of variance in student learning outcomes that can be explained by educational factors. Therefore, the very first two effectiveness studies conducted by Edmonds in the United States and Rutter in the United Kingdom were concerned with examining evidence and making an argument about the potential power of schooling to make a difference in students' life chances. During the last 4 decades, many effectiveness studies were conducted in various countries around the world. These studies did not only reveal that teachers and schools matter. These studies also show that the classroom level can explain more of the variance in student learning outcomes than the school level. Moreover, meta-analysis of effectiveness studies show that a large proportion of this classroom level variance can be explained by what teachers do in their classroom, by their behavior. It is for this reason that I decided to give a keynote at the early 2015 conference on teacher rather than on school effectiveness research and draw implications for teacher professional development. More specifically, during the first part of the presentation, I will provide a critical review of research on teacher training and professional development and illustrate limitations of the main approaches to teacher professional development, such as the competency-based approach and the holistic approach. The second part provides a critical review of research on teacher effectiveness. The main findings of this field are analyzed. It is argued that instead of treating direct and active teaching approaches as in contrast with the new learning approaches, an integrated approach to effective teaching should be established. The importance of investigating the additive and interactive effects of generic and content-specific teaching skills is also emphasized. During the third part of my presentation, I will refer to the work that our research team has conducted in order to establish a model of educational effectiveness that takes into account the dynamic nature of effectiveness. This model attempts to establish stronger links between research and practice. A framework for measuring both quantitative and qualitative characteristics of each factor is also proposed. Moreover, the dynamic model assumes that factors which operate at the same level are related to each other, and the concept of grouping of factors is introduced. During the presentation, I will also refer to studies investigating the validity of the model. These studies did not only provide support to the model, but also helped us to identify stages of effective teaching. Thus, in the fourth part of my presentation, it will be advocated that teacher professional development should be focused on how to address grouping of specific teacher factors associated with student learning outcomes and on how to help teachers improve their teaching skills by moving from using skills associated with the direct teaching approach to using more advanced skills associated with the new learning approach and differentiation of teaching. The main characteristics of the proposed dynamic teacher Our dynamic approach to teacher professional development will also be presented. I will then refer to studies investigating the impact of this approach on improving teaching and through that on promoting student learning outcomes. Finally, suggestions for further research utilizing and expanding the dynamic approach to teacher professional development will be provided. I look forward to meeting you all at the EARLI 2015 conference. Goodbye and see you all soon in Limassol.